Good morning. Welcome to the November 20th, 2024 Park and Tree Committee meeting. You can please stand and say the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Since I can hear me, I'll do the roll call from right to left and skip myself, and you can ask if I'm here. So, Matthew Betchel,
Present.
Lena Tucker, Bob Dalton,
Here.
Nancy Patton,
Here.
Deborah Northern,
Here.
and
Wally here.
Wally Shreves is here.
So you,
So,
Oliver Mike's on?
Yep, but they're not close.
Oh, for crying out loud.
testing.
Yes. Okay.
You got it.
I can hear everyone.
So we
I
have
got it.
everybody here that's supposed to be here.
No,
Okay.
hey, Adam.
Yeah.
Adam,
Yeah, go ahead.
can you hear me?
Yep.
There is actually one new member and I did reach out to him, so I'll reach out to him again. It's Scott Swanson.
Yeah.
He's just not there, and I'll try to get a hold of him again.
Yep, I was looking for him this morning so I could introduce him, but
He might still be on vacation. They had a new baby in the family.
Oh, that's true. Okay, yeah, I hadn't heard from him, but there
Mhm.
is a seventh member, just so you all know.
yeah, so if any of you didn't hear that, Scott Swanson, the guy who was the newspaper guy, the New Era,
Yes.
is been promoted from just civilian in town to civilian in town on the Park and Tree Committee.
Oh, good.
So, and if you don't like it, blame Dave. But it's my personal opinion. I think he'll be a great addition. I
Yes,
think
he
he'll bring
will.
a lot to the committee. Yeah. Yep. So, all right, time reports. If anybody had anything, please email Angela directly, your time, so she has it in hard copy. Next, the meeting minutes, please read through them, and I need a first and a second.
A motion to approve the meeting minutes.
We have a motion to approve.
I'll second.
We have a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Meeting minutes are approved. Thank you. This time, we'll take a moment for a public comment. There's anyone out there? Isn't there a song like that? Oh, Pink Floyd.
Yeah.
Is anyone out there?
Anybody out there? Okay.
So
I've been listening to Pink Floyd. Sorry.
So- Angela or Adam, I noticed on the website that it said this past week that the beautification committee was supposed to meet. So I told Ashley about it, and Patty said that it was they're not meeting December or January.
Cecily handles the website,
Okay,
so I will ask her when this meeting's done.
okay, because I said, Ashley, hurry up and get ready. Anyway,
Hey, Adam, can
Yeah,
they hear me?
Yep.
So, a while ago, so I don't go to the or the beautification committee meetings, but they had me set up the calendar invite. So if there's changes to that, I need to know so I can change the calendar invites because it sends them an invite. So, but I don't go, so I get questions for it all the time. So if there's any changes, let Cecily and I know so I can make sure to change the Outlook calendar too.
okay, I have to talk to Patty today about the kids store, so I can mention that to her if you want me to.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So let's move on to old business. I think,
We just got that one.
yeah, I think we
Sorry.
covered the beautification committee.
Oh, and you
Update.
said public comments. I'm sorry.
Huh?
Never mind.
Oh, yeah, we're good with public comments. There's nobody out there. Weddle Bridge Mill City outreach. I have not went up, Lena and I are gonna go up to Mill City and talk to them about how they did fundraising. That has now risen to a priority on my part. I'm gonna make a trip up before we go up and just try to coordinate a meeting with the people and find out who it is. And then make sure I get the right people in the meeting that they can be there and I don't just run into somebody. And the reason I haven't done it yet is I don't want to do it on a phone call.
Right.
I found out phone calls don't seem to work with anything. So
Right.
standing there face to face where they can't just make faces at me and hang up. So I'll be traveling up there to visit with them soon. So December's meeting priorities. Angela, did you have something specific with that? Or I know we need to talk about this week about the Arbor Day celebration and start getting that lined out, dates and times.
So the priorities meeting, according to your charter, you're supposed to come to the December meeting with the priorities that you want to see in the SIP plan, the capital improvement plan. So just, we just did the Parks Master Plan. So whatever your priorities are should be part of that Park System Master Plan. So just make sure that you are identifying the tasks that we listed out in those priorities as to what you want to see for 2025. Now remember, just because these are your priorities doesn't mean that's what the council and will vote on, but just to show what projects you would like to see moving into the next fiscal year, which would be 2025, 2026 fiscal year.
Right. And I think it would probably be good, since we'll have extra time in that meeting, to just bring all the list up while we're there and go through it. Have everybody read through the park.
I can't hear you all now, Adam.
Good now.
Okay.
I got you now.
Again, is it in the December meeting, we can actually go through the list and talk about it. It would be good to look at it ahead of time. I'm assuming the Parks Master Plan is on the city website. Would that be correct?
Yes, Cecily uploaded it onto the website.
Yep. So,
And if you want me to email you a copy, I can email a copy also.
that would be good. I'll try to remember to send you a reminder for that. Okay. And a big note for December, unless he comes as public, which I'm sure he will every month, that'll be Dave's last meeting with us, probably as our city council advisor. All right, let's talk about some scorched trees.
Yes, they were scorched.
Yeah, are you talking the ones at Evergreen?
Evergreen, the dogwood at Sankey, other various trees around town, the elms at Northside. I think they'll come out of it. I think it was that early July heat wave.
Yeah.
And we're getting plenty of rain. So Greg and I talked, we're gonna let it ride and see how they look come spring when they leaf out again. The Sankey Park dogwood that we planted for Molly actually recovered pretty well. They adjusted the water. The guys did hand watering. Deb did some hand watering. So that one rejuvenated and was looking pretty good there in August. The elm trees at Northside, Sean and I did some pruning on them because they had some pretty bad top dieback. But the nature of elms is they've got kind of a unique shape. So kind of watch those and see what's going on. So again, I just think it was too much of a heat wave too early after nice, rainy, moist
Yeah.
May and June. So
It was really strange looking at the ones at Evergreen. I actually got out and walked around them like, what am I missing? Why is that one looks great? And these other ones look like they've just completely.
and the grass was green.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sean said they were trying to adjust the watering system, so some might have gotten more water than others.
Oh.
So,
Okay.
but yeah, they after he got the water adjusted, some of the leaves underneath were okay.
Yeah.
The kind of, you look at it like where the sun angle was,
Oh.
that's where really the scorching was.
Right.
So yeah, welcome to summers in Oregon now.
Yep. No, I know my house has tons of scorched and actually dead trees.
Yeah.
I've identified them that got scorched back in the 113 degree
Oh,
weather
yeah.
year, and there's at least 13 or 14 that never recovered. So,
Yeah, that heat wave hit conifers really hard.
yeah.
I didn't see as much conifer damage like our Leyland cypress at Northside.
Right.
They're just bring it on, man. They did well.
Yeah.
So if trees could talk.
Yeah. All right. Now let's move on to new business.
Okay, what about those bugs?
Yeah.
What were they called?
Oh, yeah.
The
The
beetle?
ones that are coming down from the north.
Yep. Emerald ash borer, ODA, ODF, Invasive Species Council. They have some active trapping programs happening.
Hmm.
And they're just trying to kind of track where emerald ash borers are starting to show up and treat the site if they can. And yep,
Okay.
haven't heard anything beyond, the few that they found in Marion County.
Yeah.
So
I saw it on the news in Portland. They talked about it.
Yep.
Pretty much,
Hmm.
they didn't even say as much as you did, so. So I wasn't surprised. All right, so let's talk about celebration tree replacements.
So I think, can you guys hear me?
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay. I won't yell anymore then. So, I think what we need to do, and Greg, like I haven't looked at the budget lately. We need to look at the budget, figure out what trees, Lena did, and I forgot to send that out to you guys. I apologize. Lena did send me a spreadsheet. I'll send that out a little bit later today. I knew I was forgetting something. And Greg, I'll send it to you so we can look to see what budget it is to replace those trees. I apologize. I just now thought about the fact Lena did send that to me and I forgot. So,
I have one copy. I forgot to make more, but I can.
well, I meant
Share
to
it.
include it. I meant to include it and yeah, it's been a morning.
So the celebration trees specifically are the thundercloud flowering plum at Sankey by the bridge. It was devastated by an ice storm and they took it out, but the plaque is still there. So it's a real specific, it actually names the tree flowering plum. So it's like, well, we should probably put a flowering plum back there. It was celebration of Ames Creek projects, I think, is the plaque starting to get a little faded. So that's an easy one to replace. The other one is the celebration tree for Carol Lewis, which was planted in the old splash pad back by the Girl Scout hut. And it was a maple, but it was probably not the right place for it in that cement structure in the deep shade. So
Right.
there is a plaque there, I think, on the concrete for her. So my thought is we, recycle the plaque and get a new tree somewhere. I don't know if specifically it needs to be a maple or, we dedicate some of the newer trees we plant to her. So those are the two in Sankey. And as I go through tree inventory, I still discover other celebration trees. There's quite a few at Clover and they're all looking good.
That's good.
So, and then along with that, there was a suggestion to put at least 3 more flowering cherries in Sankey to kind of fill out the walk along the plaza. So a thought is one of those cherries could become the Carol Lewis celebration tree, if folks thought that was acceptable. Those are kind of the, I guess, priorities when Angela asked me to narrow this down. So it'd be like a flowering plum, 3 Acabano cherries or daybreak cherries. That's the variety that we have there on the plaza. And then if one of those is for Carol Lewis, then that takes care of that and we don't buy an additional tree.
So what's the replacement cost usually for a tree?
So for these, I was looking at 15-gallon pots. So that's the size of the dogwood we planted last year. So the flowering plum is $84 and the Akabano cherries are 91 a piece.
So Angela, do we have a opportunity when we talk about, you was talking about going back in the budget, but for us or someone to look for sponsors that would want to, sponsor a tree replacement versus just digging in a budget maybe?
Yeah, we can do that also. I was just bringing up the spreadsheet that Lena sent me. So, it looks like for all of them, so it would be, hold on. 1 thundering or thundercloud flowering plum, 3 cherry, 1 maple, possibly for Carol Lewis, possibly not. 10 dogwoods. Oh, the other ones are, I think, for Arbor Day, are they not?
Yes.
Yeah,
The
I
frisbees
added.
and carabiners, never mind. So including the trees and the Arbor Day stuff, it came to 565.
And
Now
we
I
could reduce.
think I need to look back because I think for Tree City USA, I don't think we got the grant we can get them every other year. So we didn't get it this last year, so I may be able to apply for it this coming year. That could help. I need to go back and look and see. I'm pretty sure I didn't apply for it this last year, so we might be able to get some funding from them also.
I think regardless, we should try to designate in our budget for every year, maybe not this much, but a specific amount for new trees, replacement trees, things to support our Arbor Day event and other events. So we can kind of brighten this up for our December meeting so that we
Yeah,
have
I think it'd be a
some
good idea.
specific funding that we can put in there. And then in discussions with Public Works, I came up with the tree watering bag. Sean talked about it, so I printed some off, like kind of a maintenance type of activity.
Mhm.
I'm assuming goes to Public Works. So maybe we can just get a little more specific about kind of a year in advance, our budget and what we want for output in terms of trees or giveaways or other things to support our activities in the parks.
And that is something that you guys can add to your December kind of priorities, because that's what you're going to be submitting for the capital improvement plan is, those are besides just the projects, the funding that you will need for replacement trees or celebration trees. That is, something to put in the list of priorities for budget wise. So let's go ahead and I have this spreadsheet, and if there's anything else that you can think of, let's add that to that list of priorities.
And the budget would start July 1st of 2025 and run through June 30th of 2026.
Correct.
And can we move the plaques so the trees have a better chance of survival? Or is there some etiquette or formality?
If I'm wrong, we could probably ask her if she minds, so we can keep a tree alive for her.
I would agree that we're not just going to plant another tree back and have it struggle. If it's going to be back in that shaded corner, then we can easily move the plaque. They're not that big, and we've done it before, so that's not an issue.
I don't have any contact information for Carol, but I'd be happy to touch base with her and.
Yeah, I
And
can
see if
get
she-
contact information
Okay.
for her, so yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Well, that sounds like a good game plan. Have trees that live.
Sorry.
I
Yeah.
can support that.
Those are plastic.
And
Yeah.
so part of that is, it's just getting tough when we plant trees in April and hope that we have enough water in spring for good root growth to get us through summer, summers are starting to be pretty long. So for some of these, I really suggest we kind of looked at planting in winter, like say January after the holidays. And they can still be a focus of our Arbor Day event. We can like dedicate the tree officially, but yeah, I just the way our summers are going, I just worry about getting trees started, especially the bigger trees with the bigger root balls we're buying.
I do like the idea of the bags because I
Yeah.
know the guys are trying to water and then they get busy and it's not
Yep.
a high priority. So I think if we plant any tree, you should just have a bag with it.
I think so. The new trees and, you know, even things like the dogwood at Sankey we planted last year, I think would benefit from a bag. And I'm seeing them used quite a bit. You know,
Yeah.
downtown Lebanon has them on their street trees, so they're, you know, just looking at Amazon, 4 bags, $35, hit some sales, but they basically hold about 20 gallons and they've got like micro holes in the bottom. So the idea is you fill them up and it's a slow seeping watering, which is good for trees. So
Sounds like a good plan
Yeah.
and pretty economical.
I think we did have a volunteer that wanted to donate at least one cherry to the addition of cherries in the plaza at $91. So maybe that person will let me know if that's a reasonable amount. I hear 2. Okay, I think we can fit 3 in there.
I would be happy to do that after next year.
Yeah.
I would definitely do that. But don't try to call me because I'm not going to answer the call. Especially him.
I'll
But
just stop
I
you
will-
on the street when I see you
will-
walking.
I will do, my fair share
Okay.
with trees.
Appreciate that.
You just send him a bill.
So before we finalize, especially adding cherries to the plaza, Greg, I'd like to get with Public Works to make sure Sean and I infrastructure, utilities, where the watering systems are, just so we can kind of look at it and go, all right, we're going to have a tree this size and shape, go here, here, and here.
Yeah, I would work that out with Sean.
Okay, I will do that.
I mean, they're the ones that are in the parks. They're the ones that are dealing with it a little more hands-on during the Harvest Festival and things like that.
Yep.
And so they'd probably have a better idea than I would. So
Yeah. So the cherry, this is interesting. So we have cherries on the creek side of the plaza, the pathway that goes behind the playground. And then this completes the cherries kind of as you go into the plaza and on the north side of the playground. And there's just enough room to really line our pathway. So all of the cherries there they're all the same. I think they're all the daybreak cherries. There is one a little later blooming cherry that was specifically for Alice Smith by her bench. So there's one that looks a little different. But I would go with the Accabono or the daybreak cherries that kind of match the bulk of them in there. And I do have information on them. They soft pink single flowers. Sometimes they're double, mostly they're single. They last a long time. And they're actually, the daybreak cherries are what the majority of the cherry trees in the what's it called? The tidal basin in Washington, D.C. Most of the cherry trees you see in there are the Accabono. So, yeah.
All right.
I think that's it. Clover Park inventory is done, like I mentioned.
Yeah.
And we have some really neat celebration memorial plaques in there that I'd forgotten about, really. So I got pictures of them and they're all in with the inventory. So, yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, let's move on to Arbor Day. Officially, Arbor Day is the 25th of April. So I make a recommendation that we set the 26th of April as Arbor Day, which is a Saturday. The weather is questionable the 26th. It will be raining beforehand and supposed to start to be sunny Friday on, but that's a question in my crystal ball. So I know I have
Man, you're good.
I would bring a raincoat, but I think it'll be okay.
Okay.
He goes way beyond the 10-day forecast.
Wow.
But oddly enough, he has been very accurate over the
He's
many
been-
years
he's been
I've been
close.
working with him.
So,
All right.
does anybody know of anything that's in that time frame, the 25th of April? The only thing that I was concerned about was spring break. I think
Usually March.
that's
Yeah.
March. That's right.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah, thank you. That
Yeah,
one
that's
just
usually
came
the
to
end
me.
of March.
There
Yep.
you go.
Yep. So I was a month off. So yeah, I don't know of anything else in that time frame. The only thing I do know is if we're going to do it, we need to get it ironed in and like on Angela's calendar.
Right.
So things don't get scheduled, other people planning to go where we would like to go and have another confrontation.
What
Which was it?
location are you thinking? Sankey Park again? So I can make sure to just kind of block out the park and because I do have people that reserve things, and so I just want to make sure that I put it on my calendar so I don't allow people to reserve certain spots during that time.
So a question for you on Sankey, because it would tie it to
I'm supposed to get 90% by the 1st of December. Supposed to
Okay.
have 100% design by the end of the year. So I don't know. I don't have a schedule yet for work. So until we get that design done.
Yeah. Is that, as far as grade goes, does that sound even possible that anything might be started by the 25th of April? Or it's
Nothing
too
from
wet?
our end. We're just in the park maintaining.
Usually around the same time.
yeah.
Yeah. So I
We
mean,
we have all those trees you're talking about. Sankey Park seems
yeah,
that's where to do it.
yeah. Oh, I agree. I was just thought it would be cool if there was, even if it's just some layout of what's going to happen, so people see it as a talking point for that day, which,
I'll probably have a better idea of maybe a construction timeline, maybe in January.
okay,
We have another meeting with the consultants, like I said, here at the 1st of December. And then I would say have more of a timeline, project timeline by the 1st of the year, hopefully.
okay. And so I'm fine with Sankey Park. Does anybody on the committee have a opposition to using Sankey with all the new trees and at least the trail outline put in place?
I think Sankey's good because there's a lot of entertainment for the kids, a lot
Yeah.
of playground stuff they
Yeah.
can use.
Well, and keep in mind, that was when we did Kid to Park Day, which was a big
Oh, we did.
success.
Yeah.
I
Right.
think that really brought people out and we can
Mhm.
push that a little harder this year.
Yeah.
You
Um,
want to combine them again?
Yeah,
Mhm.
I think we
Okay.
should, it's my opinion that we should do that going forward because
I agree.
it's a way of getting people to know about Arbor Day because it seems to be a holiday that's drifting away that people don't recognize. So getting kids to hear about it is probably a good thing.
It's Earth Day on the 22nd, so.
Yeah,
Earth
Oh,
Day.
yeah.
on the
Earth Day's
25th.
on the 22nd, so.
It's close.
Yeah.
Do you guys know what times? I think we started a little bit earlier last year, didn't we?
I'll have to go back and look.
Okay.
I want to say
you
we
can tell me-
started
you
at
can tell
10.
me. That's kind of what I thought, but
Yeah,
I can go back and look and see. And if, did you like that time period that we did last year? And then I can
Yeah.
just,
that
Go with
worked really
that.
well.
okay.
Duplicate it.
And we
I
did 10 to
pretty
2
sure I have
last
the
year.
flyers. I have the flyers, so I'll just go look and see what I put on the flyers.
Yep,
Yeah, it was advertised as 10 to 2 last year. I'm looking at the flyer.
look at that.
And it was on
A steel
the
trap
20th
rusted shut.
on
Yep.
14th Avenue.
Okay. So I think we have a plan for Arbor Day.
Yeah.
Which is our next, for the Park and Tree Committee, is our next big event. And that should be followed by starting back into our ivy removal in the
Okay.
spring. Start ripping it down again.
Need some skid track removers.
Yeah.
Could you get us some of those, Greg? We want something we can operate.
I'm gonna hit one new business because it isn't for us directly, but just something I noticed. Some rogue person 2 years ago planted a couple sunflowers in the island. And last year, I understand, I never saw it from reading Facebook. Somebody said there was
Yeah.
one sunflower
It's huge.
that was somewhere.
Yeah.
So I just never saw it. Not a surprise. I didn't notice flowers. Asked my wife.
Mhm.
But just going forward, I think that might be something to think about. And that's probably a beautification committee thing, but
So the
Not-
reason
not-
it was a rogue person is we're limited on height in
Oh, I
that
know.
center island.
Yeah.
yeah,
So before you make a recommendation,
yeah. It doesn't have to be in the center island. We have a lot of places.
Could be in our parks.
Yeah, but that's
They didn't put it there. Beautification committee didn't put it there.
no. I
Probably
know.
Berg.
I know who
Birds.
did.
Bird.
So
Every year somebody puts it there.
Yeah.
That one out. literally
Somebody
8
puts it there.
weeks ago.
yeah,
It was full of sunflower seeds.
yeah. I'd just like to point out that as far as the city goes, the community members of the city noticed it. And 2 years ago, they got a lot of comments on Facebook. And when somebody vandalized the one flower, there was a huge uprising. And this year, I mean, there was another sunflower that was somewhere and people got really excited about it. So that might be something we just need to think about.
Random sunflower plantings?
Yeah,
Find the sunflower
it
contest?
could be all kinds of things, but that seemed to be a big deal to
Yeah.
people. So I do have to admit, I was impressed 2 years ago with the sunflower, but
I don't know how you missed them. The stalk, I kid you not, was like a tree
That's huge.
Oh.
sapling. It
Hmm.
was
I don't know where
massive.
it was.
I
Right in front
It
of
was
State
taller
than
Way, somewhere
didn't see it.
chamber.
Yeah.
right-
Oh.
Right around in there.
And
Okay.
also they had one by Les Schwab. I saw that one,
Height thing, Wally.
Oh, okay.
Height.
but it's too tall.
Yeah. Okay, so that was my extra notes that I had down there. Anybody else have any new business?
I do need one go back.
Yep.
So as I'm looking at the inventory availability at Blue Heron, which is where we've gotten our trees before, they have exactly, as of October 28th, they had 17 of the Acabano cherries size we want, 17 in stock. So I'm looking at Greg.
Multitasking.
So I think, so Greg and I can sit down, Greg, if
Okay.
you're willing, sit down and look at the budget, because right now we're pretty tight and kind of having to hold off on spending. So Greg and I can sit down and take a look and see where might be the best way to do that, and then get back with you as soon as we can.
I just, when I see inventory that low, I'm like, oops, that's pretty low.
And Greg, I'll go get them. We want to do that. I mean, if we get to the point, you don't have to send your guys, I'll go grab them.
Oh, we can go get them. That's not an issue.
That's all I've done. I've just been go getting them every year.
Well, then we can figure that out too.
Yeah.
I won't say no.
Yeah, that's an easy one.
There are 83 of the flowering plums available.
Okay,
That's about-
any other new business?
I do. So we still, our grant's gone, right, Angela?
No.
No,
Okay. So what do we have to do?
well, the
Still
grant's
try
not
to earn
gone.
money?
So I am waiting for the engineers to get back with me to see, so the engineering costs are going to be way above what we originally quoted. So as soon as I get those engineering costs, I will have to adjust the grant. So I don't know what the amount of match is now that we're going to have. It won't be as much, but I won't know that until I can get back with the engineers and find out so we have the engineer consultants that are designing it, and then it'll have to be the whole trail will have to be engineered and then whatever the concrete's going to be. So I don't have costs for that yet. So as soon as I do, then I will know what the amended grant is going to be.
So you're talking just about the trails?
Yes, we, at this point, that we're not going to be able to afford the bandstand. So it's not off the list, but it won't be included in this grant. It'll have to be a different phase.
So when we come together in December, I think we really need to work on that because honestly, different towns that I go through and I see their simple, like Lebanon, their simple little gazebo band place. It's just a shame that we can't do that. And I know
Well, here-
Wally and Dave have said before that the cement would be donated. So can we get back to that in December?
Yes, so just a little bit of an update on that. Yes, they will be donated. However, they can be donated at a time that we're ready also. It doesn't have to be
Right.
done right now. And so one of the things you all need to put when you're thinking about your priorities is I know you want, and there's some great alternative ideas. Wally brought them up last time. I think it's great. But we also need to finish the Sankey Park Phase 3, and you're also wanting to push the Weddell Bridge project. So
Right.
there's only so many projects we can do within a year. So that's where I think you need to think about what your priorities are. So 100% we have to finish the trail system because we already have the grant for that. But moving forward, we need to figure out where you want to focus at. The bandstand has not been taken off the list of priorities. However, there's only so many things we can do in a year. So if you want to push the Weddell Bridge, then I would say focus on that. And when we get done with the trail system, then we can go back and focus on the bandstand. So I just want to caution you about wanting to push too many things in one year because we want to make sure that we're achieving our goals and completing our tasks and not having to be continually, and as far as grant wise goes, we have another grant that we were awarded right now that we're having to find match for. So their match is getting hard to do. And so I just need you to keep that in your thought process as we move forward with these projects. So you think about it in the next month and decide how you want to work that out. The trail system at Sankey Park, that is number one priority. It has to get done. We already have the grant for it. As far as bandstand and Weddell Bridge, just think about how you want to proceed with those, and then we can discuss it in December because we won't have the funding or the money, and we may not have the resources to do both. So just whichever one you decide, then we'll focus on that.
I understand. So maybe a new year, people will be more willing to give us money. But other than that, though, we really do need to do some major fundraising.
Yeah, and that's the other thing is getting it done at the right time.
Right.
And just for reference, I met with Angela earlier and talked about the bandstand, the cement plaza for that, and what we could do, and the bridge, and trying to figure out how to get the funding for it. And then the other part is they actually need to hire some people here at the city hall to actually do some of this work. Because until we start to backfill some people are overloaded just at the
Right.
moment. So
Yeah, I know.
I'm hoping that can happen in the not too distant future. So,
Well, and my worry is that if you try to do both at the same time and you're asking for money for both the bandstand and the bridge at the same time, that it's not going to go over so well, and I could be 100% completely wrong, but just considering the last couple of years and just even with my nonprofit board and some of the other things I've been doing, people aren't wanting to donate as much. And so I'm afraid if we get too many things going and asking for too many things that it's going to discourage people, which is why I asked that just, talk it out, think about how you want to do it, because I think we need to focus that on one or the other for the time being. And then I will find out, hopefully I will know the first of the year what that amended grant is going to be and how much money we're still going to need.
It's interesting. You talk about the fundraising. I just watched a fundraiser for kids in the back east. It was an elementary school in their park system. And they noticed some of their classmates were handicapped and they didn't have access to playground equipment that was accessible. And their goal was to raise $100,000 for this stuff. They put it in the children's hands and they raised over $1 million. And
Well,
I was just blown away that these were grade school kids that took this campaign on. I'm thinking, here we are, we're struggling to get 60-some thousand just to get a pavilion. And here's school children that just went out with their flyers and knocked on doors, and
I believe it.
over 1 million. And I was just blown away that, it was just amazing what they did. So it's doable. It's just how we approach it.
yeah. Oh, I think it's completely doable. It's just, and I don't know, what's in the air right now, but I think we need to just make sure that we're focusing that and not asking too much, because we don't want to discourage people from not. But I also think, like Bob's had some good ideas, if someone donates a certain amount, we, donate a plaque to them or name something, so I think there's other opportunities there, but we just need to make sure we're not focusing on too many all at the same time. Because yeah, as Wally said, staff is very limited right now also, so that's also a factor. Staff budget, our own city budget, there's a lot of different factors right now. So, and I want to make sure that we are completing the tasks that we told the community we would do, and make sure that we're following through on those things. Even if we have to rearrange things, I want to make sure our list is still there, but we're prioritizing them and able to complete them. That's my worry, is we're not able to complete if we get too many going on.
And there must be something different between the East Coast and the West Coast, because
More people.
well, my son is on the Sweet Home at the high school, the ski club, and they do an auction, which is December 5th this year. If y'all want to come out and support it and buy some stuff to help kids that can't afford to go, have transportation and rental gear and lift tickets. And Roman has hit 7 or 8 places, and he has 1 donation. And these are places we've hit in previous years and got stuff right away. And they're not small places. I mean, like Berg Ski Shop in Eugene, Peak Sports, Walmart, they've all given before, and it came quickly. And this year, Thriftway is the only one who came through immediately. So buy from Thriftway, I like them. But it just doesn't seem like the donations are coming in, even because I was amazed when we tried to do it, and it seemed like there was a lot of balk at it. And I'm just wondering if it's the economic impact of food and fuel prices that have been hitting people and businesses, that people are just not willing to donate as much. So I don't know that. It's a side note, and it's something I observed.
I mean, timing is critical at times. I mean, when you try to go look for funds, a lot of times, like when we did the pavilion, it was kind of late in the year, and then people were tapped out at that point. They'd already committed to other organizations. So I think timing is a critical piece of it.
Yep.
And then they look at what's in it for them. If I'm donating now, I'll donate for trees. If she wanted a tree, I'd donate like Dave did. But again, it's kind of like what's in it for me. They want to see what do I get for my investment. And the Sankey Park's a good picture of what has happened, and look at the results. People are using that park like ever.
I might have shared this before, but last year when I went to a nonprofit thing, the person that impressed me the most about what they do is Trish, that works for the Jamboree. She sets up meetings, she goes and talks to people, and she says to them, what can we do for you? And then they donate.
Yeah.
And then, so it's just amazing. So they're not saying, can I have your money? It's, what would you like us to do for you?
Yep.
And, when I went to Cascade Timber, it was about, can we donate logs and timbers, for construction? It'd be like the Weddell Bridge. If you needed structural members, I'm sure Cascade would give you some trees. You'd have to mill them, get them approved. And so that piece, I could see that's an approach to someone like that, is material item versus a dollar item. Still the same, but just different.
So on a side note, just an item, if you worry about what's being taught in our schools, my son sent me home a sheet from the government class, and it was priorities for towns and cities. And what in the government class, what they say is the 1 through 10. And number 1 was access to clean air and water. I think that's a good thing. Number 2 was parks and recreation areas.
Mhm.
So I think they got that one right.
Mhm.
So I couldn't figure out why he sent me that picture. I'm
And
like, why'd you send me this?
by the way, the city is
Yeah.
is sending out those community surveys. I took a whole bunch because when I do the event coming up, I'm going to pass them out. But if you guys stop and get from Adam or whoever is at the front, get some surveys and start handing them out to people. The mayor said her goal is to get 1,500 back.
Hmm.
So that's going to help a lot because those are some of the questions that are on their priorities and, parks and all that is on there. So I think it'd be really good to do that.
So officially, the end date of that was the 15th of November.
They extended it.
So they did, but I don't know for how much longer. So we may have that shut off if
At the share meeting the other day, it's extended.
that is not what I heard yesterday.
Really?
It is extended, but not indefinitely.
Okay.
So
She's, all right, I'm the secretary for that group, so I'll look back at my notes and tell you what they said. But yeah,
I think we're good.
but it is extended a little bit. So we can still, because I'm a vendor at the end of November and I'm taking my flyers with me. And in fact, she gave me a stack that big. So if we get that done, that's going to help us a lot too.
Hey, any other new business? Going once, twice? This concludes our November Park and Tree Committee meeting. Thank you for your attendance and a quick meeting today.
Are we skipping
I
round
think
table?
prepare to stay long
You have
in
something?
December.
Yes.
Question about
Okay.
the park.
Hold on, Wally.
Yes.
I think
Whoa.
Matthew has something. Hold on.
Round
I had some
table?
questions about Quarry Park and
Oh,
getting it
that's
cleaned
what I
up
was doing.
because I was there the other day and there's just so much garbage. And I know people in the past have been able to get vouchers for the dump from the city. I want to know if I can get that, if I get a volunteer group out there to start cleaning it up. And are we responsible for removing the bags or can we leave them on the utility, on the service road so they can just be picked up? Or how can we go about getting this done?
I would recommend talking to Ray, the building permit tech. He's also filling in the code enforcement position. So he would know probably about the vouchers if that is still a thing.
Okay.
Those were issued from Sweet Home Sanitation, and I don't know if they're still offering those, but Ray would know. So I'd recommend talking to Ray.
Okay. I will do that. Thank you.
And the meeting is still over.
Adjourn.
All right. Thank you, guys.
No, not yet.
No?
No, you're fine, Angela. Dave asked if
Oh.
this thing was turned off, and I'm not off yet. I'm working on it.